Hello. Um, right, I know I've not been on for a bit, but because I've just been dealing with real life stuff as it happens. But this is an interesting thing because I'm constantly reading and researching things, all sorts, various anything. I love reading about stuff. I love researching things. I love history. I love anything that requires learning. My problem being is that I will go off in lots of different directions. So I'm not an expert of anything. I'm one of these people that knows lots of general knowledge. Therefore, I'm probably fairly good in a pub quiz, which I do love pub quizzes. But I'm not an expert on anything, which is fine. It's fine. It's something I brought up years ago to somebody, and they said it's okay if you're not a master of anything. Sometimes it's actually a strength to see somebody who is interested in lots of things rather than just one thing. Anyway, one of the things that I'm struggling with at the moment is trying to figure out my life purpose. And I am interested in things like astrology and tarot and things like that. I really wish these had come onto my view back as, say, a teenager or even younger, because I think to have had a whole lifetime of being aware of these things and learning these things would have been so wonderful for me and helped me on my journey and give me some clarity when I had youth on my side. And while I would say I'm not old, I don't consider myself old or anything like that. And I still see that I have a lot of years ahead of me. We have to be realistic that the physical body does normally have a lot more strength and energy, um, and just power when we're younger. It's just natural. You see kids running around, and then when you get into be your 30s and 40s, you can't imagine doing the same thing. Anyway, right. So, on that note, astrology's been in my field of vision for maybe about 2 years now. I never really believed in it because I am, according to, now again, you got two things. So you've got your Western astrology and you have Vedic astrology, which is Eastern astrology. So in Western astrology, I am considered a Aries sun, and I never really associated with the Aries energy, because Aries people are supposed to be leaders and they're supposed to be teachers and they're supposed to be very energetic and have loads of things going on and be, a lot of times they're very sporty people, um, and um, yeah, just be very active and also fiery. I mean, Aries is a fire sign and also very fiery, very argumentative, kind of like putting a match on some petrol and things like that. And I never saw myself as an Aries because I'm not like that. I absolutely hate confrontation and I will not get involved in confrontation. I acknowledge that not everyone is going to believe the things I believe in, and it's okay. And if somebody's trying to butt heads with me, I just walk away. And it's interesting because I see that trait in my dad as well. So I think that I took after my dad in that regard. My dad didn't like confrontation either. So I can see that in myself. Sorry, I'm just pouring a cup of tea. I need my tea. So it's interesting, and I don't see myself as that. I don't argue. And when I think about my times when I was in a long term relationship, I was married for many, many years. We never fought. And I always thought I had a great marriage because we never fought. And what I realized after the fact, after the fact, when I was divorced, is actually an argument, a healthy discourse is very good for a relationship, because you're both establishing what your opinions are, what your values are, and you're discussing it in a very healthy way. Now, there is good argument and bad argument. I mean, obviously, good argument is where you can actually give each person a space to be heard and to speak and not take it personally. So no name calling and all that stuff. And then there's relationships that have whatever, very unhealthy arguments where they throw things and call each other names and threats and all the rest of it. So, but I always thought I had a good marriage because we never argued. But but after the fact, what I realized is because um, pretty much everything was done in accordance to what my partner wanted. And if I guess I look at it, if I cared enough, I probably would have pushed back more than I did. But because I don't like confrontation, if I said I like this and we were choosing something, I can think of a specific time when we were choosing our new kitchen, and it was something as inconsequential as the door hand or the drawer handles. I liked one pattern, he liked another pattern. And when I said, well, no, I quite like these, he said, well, I like these. Well, I just left it because I thought, well, it's just drawer handles. It's not important. And so basically it was his way, because that's just how I approach things. Now, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. It's just how I approach things. So never saw myself as an Aries sun. So I got interested in astrology about 2 years ago. I started watching astrology things and then expanding my knowledge, because my knowledge was very, very limited, which is basically just looking up your sun sign in the newspaper or whatever. Um, and then I learned that, first of all, astrology is a science, which I never thought it was. I thought it was just a bit of fluff, just a bit of fun. But I learned it was a science, and I learned that people who were quite powerful during our history of humanity. So your generals, warlords, all that stuff, they all consulted astrologists. And in fact, very interestingly enough, somebody that I watch on YouTube even said, and it was interesting once they said this, I thought, aha, even in the Bible, they talk about astrology, because we know that the three wise men who were psychics, who were, people of the metaphysical world, they followed the star. Well, following stars is astrology. So when she said that, I thought, oh gosh, it's been around us for long, long time. So learning that really helped. But also, once I learned what the different signs mean. So your sun sign is like your true self, your true potential, but your rising sign is probably more descriptive of how you are to the outer world. And once I read my rising sign, I thought, wow, that's me. My rising sign is Virgo. Virgos are very attention to detail, which I am. I mean, I will get into the nth detail. I probably could be a human magnifying glass. And even now, I've noticed I do it because I go for a walk with a friend, and as we're walking along, I will notice things on the ground that she doesn't see. Like, I remember we went for a walk a couple months ago, and I was finding ladybugs on the pathway and picking them up and moving them to bushes. And the first time I did it, her reply was almost like, "How did you see that?" But I just noticed the minute detail in everything. And when I work, I'm very detailed. Everything I do is detailed. And I think that's why I suffer with exhaustion, because I am not good at looking at the big picture. And well, I am in the respect of when I have a job to do, because right now I have a job that I want to do, and I'm looking at the big picture and I get overwhelmed and I just go sit on the sofa and feel sorry for myself, which I know is not the right way to approach it, but that's another thing. But I spend so much time on the different layers and the different details. It's important to me. And weirdly enough, because I've been going through old papers and getting rid of stuff. So I'm looking through stuff that's years old. I'm finding receipts that are literally 10 years old. And I'm actually analyzing them thinking, what did I spend there? It said I spent £5. What was the £5? Where was I? When did I go to this shop? When was I in this part of town? And I will find myself literally analyzing these things that are so old it does not matter anymore, because I'm a detail person. So once I learned about my rising sign, I thought this stuff makes sense. I've had a reading. The reading was really very good. Won't go into detail here because I take forever in a day, because I want to get to the point of why I'm talking today. So I'm reading a different thing today. So one of my journeys is to find out what my life purpose is, because I feel like I'm just going in this, I feel like I'm on a record player going around and around and around. I want to find my life purpose. And this is how I am. I'm very practical in real life. If I go to a job, I want them to say, we're looking for a spreadsheet that does this. And then I can just get on and do it. So I need to know, what is it that you want? What am I aiming for? What's my aim, my goal? And I'll get on and do it. Now, the thing with life purpose is the goal should come from within us. And this is where I struggle because I'm so used to being, I guess, told, whether it's through work or when you're up, when you're a little kid, your parents tell you, you need to go and do this, you need to go to school. You're being told what to do most of your life. And this idea, and of course, well, I wouldn't say I was a workaholic, but I felt that was my purpose in life, was just to work a job. And I wouldn't say I was happy doing it, but I felt useful. And I think that was a thing for me. I've been miserable in certain jobs, but I felt useful either because I was giving them the end result of the spreadsheet or whatever it was, or I was contributing to the good of the company and the company's growth, or I was helping my colleagues because they might have had a project they needed my help. So I felt useful. But I realized life purpose is it's about me feeling useful in myself. And this is where my current struggle is. So trying to find that out. So in astrology, and again, I'm very green with it. I don't even pretend to know I know a tenth of astrology. I'm still learning. But in astrology, you have what we call our north node and we have our south node. So the north node is where we are meant to go for our best life's progression, and the south node is where we've come from. And the south node is not, what I'm understanding, is not to be avoided, but we look for the certain strengths and tools that we carry forward from our past lives that we can use in going into our new lives. So I'm reading a lot about south node, north node. Where can I go? What is it I need to do? So, in one of the things I'm reading today, let me see if I can find it. One of the things I'm reading today is talks about, and I never saw myself at all being a psychic or anything like that. This is just a little thing about indicators of psychic ability in your natal chart. So your natal chart, your birth chart. And I'm taking it as in, this is Western astrology. So with my sun in Aries and my rising sign in Virgo, et cetera, et cetera. So two things stood out as I'm reading this list, and I'll see if I can quickly find it because it's a very long list. I have, it talks about Uranus. I have Uranus in Virgo, I think. Let me just double check. Uranus in Virgo. I do indeed. I have Uranus in Virgo, and it says, need to learn to listen to their intuition, interest in psychic healing. And I thought, wow, that's very fascinating. And talks about, and I have it in the 12th house. It talks about if it's afflicted. I don't have an afflicted. I don't quite sure what afflicted means, but I know I don't have it. Phew, I don't have it. Don't know what it is, but I don't have it. And let's see. I think I have a Uranus sextile Pluto. I did because I have this reading just done. No, I don't. Uranus sextile. Oh, no. No, it's conjunct. Sorry, I'm reading like several different articles I've got open at the moment. No, it's not that. Oh, here we go. I think I've just found it. Sorry, I know I'm blathering, but I'm finding it. I have Uranus conjunct Pluto. I don't know what it means yet. I still have to learn this. Does it talk about that? No, it doesn't. Okay, I'm going to skip down then. So then the next thing I'm reading is where my Pluto is. So it talks about my Pluto. Now I have Pluto in the 12th, and it says Pluto here in its highest form means an individual possesses the willingness to be a channel to help those who are limited and afflicted. And I thought, wow, that's interesting. There were a couple other things, but I'm not going to take the time to go through it because I have to find it, and I'm trying to do this little video, and we could be here all day. Anyway, the several articles that I have open at the moment that I'm looking at and how it all connects, it tells me that I have some intuitive gifts, certainly clairvoyance, psychic abilities, which I never thought I was psychic, although I get all these card synchronicities, which are really crazy. But anyway, so I thought, okay, I'm going to ask a question to the tarot. So the question was, do I, even though I'm, okay, my question was very succinct. I made sure it was succinct. Do I have psychic abilities that maybe I don't know yet? Do I have psychic abilities? And the card I got was Ten of Pentacles. Can't see it. Ten of Pentacles. And what's interesting, because you can ask yes or no questions to the tarot, what was interesting is the answer that came up was yes. And in regards to Ten of Pentacles, when it talks about spirituality, it said, it means you're in a peaceful period of your life. Okay, but the answer is yes. It said basically yes. And again, I've got some other tabs open that went a little bit more in depth. Then I asked another question and I said, if I was to hone my skills, would I be able to, in this lifetime, help other people with my intuitive skills? And then the card that came up was Ace of Pentacles. And the Ace of Pentacles is not only another yes, but it talks about spirituality. And it says the tarot card and spirituality means that now might be a good time to help and inspire others. You have everything you need to help others. You have to look at what you have and what others are lacking and address the balance. And I thought, wow, that's it's spooky, isn't it? It's such an interesting synchronicity, but it's somewhat spooky. But anyway, I thought it was, yeah, I was a bit speechless when I drew those two cards. Um, so it's something I will want to look into further because I'm just trying to find my path in life. I just feel very disconnected, and I just, as I say, feel like I'm going around and around and around, and it's not what I'm here for. I'm here for something, and I want to find it. And I realize potentially I could spend the rest of my life taking classes and courses and everything else, but what good is that other than I'll have a great time doing lots of classroom study? But anyway, I realize I've just rattled on for 17 minutes, which is a long time. And so I'm going to bring this to a close. Thank you for listening. Have a blessed day wherever you are in the earth plane, and namaste.